The Culture Pop Podcast is brought to you by the law offices of Jacob and Ronnie.
Accident or injury, call Jacob and Ronnie. Call Jacob.
Hey, it's Mase. If you or a friend or loved one is injured in an accident, the first person you should call is my friend Jacob. When I did this, Jacob was great. He helped me by talking through the next steps, which really put my mind at ease. When you're injured in an accident, you got to have an expert. That's why you call Jacob, just like I did. Call Jacob, 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB, or visit calljacob.com.
Call Jacob.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Culture Pop Podcast. I'm Steve Mason along with Sue Kalinsky. This is the show where we talk about everything that is pop culture. And Sue, you'll never guess where I am.
You are, let me see.
Yeah, guess. Just guess.
Are you at ESPN?
I am at ESPN. It's so weird. Congratulations for guessing that. Yeah, I'm at the work studio now. And by the way, I'm a little bit more wired than I would be because I'm coming off of this show. And this is our final episode of our watch along for the show Sugar, which ended this past week. And Sue, it started out as a noir detective drama. Turns out to be something completely different. Colin Farrell, amazing in this. What a wild ride, huh?
We had all these speculations and theories and it all came to fruition, except for what we found out in this final episode. I don't know what you were thinking about, Henry, but I'm very curious as to your take. And then I want to talk to you about certain things that I went back and looked at.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, my God, I didn't see that the first time.
So you watched it twice, right?
I did watch it twice, and then I went back and watched episode 7.
Okay, so one of the big parts of the finale for me was that Sugar found Olivia, obviously, so he got the person he was trying to find. Mm-hmm. She had been in this basement with the son of the senator who was into torture and ultimately murder. And, Juan said to me as we were watching it, this is like Chinatown. And I'm like, yeah, it is a lot like China. No, he said, I think it's really like Chinatown. And sure enough, there is the suggestion that Jonathan Siegel, played by James Cromwell, who's Olivia's grandfather, may actually be her father. So it's a little bit like John Huston, Faye Dunaway. She's my sister. She's my daughter. It's kind of like that vibe to it. And I thought it was really interesting that Colin Farrell's character, Sugar, said, but I don't want to get into the details. He sort of brushed it off and said, whatever is your business is your business. But that was one of my big takeaways was it was Chinatown. It is Chinatown.
Right. But, we've talked about the fact that it could have been his daughter. We've talked about that before. So now we know that it was. It definitely was.
It definitely was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think that it suggests, first of all, that Sugar is obviously staying because the super creepy actor, Jason Butler Harner, who plays Henry, may have Colin Farrell, Sugar's sister, somewhere. So he stays because he's got to hunt down Henry, who was in the room while those women were being tortured. And he figured it out by listening for him writing, taking notes. And it was teed up because at one point, Colin Farrell said to Jason Butler Harner, he said, so you're still taking notes? I always take notes, observe and report. He hears the writing in the room on those recordings and Jason Butler Harner was there.
But he found out about that through Olivia. Olivia was the one.
Olivia confirmed it.
Well, she confirmed it because he said there was definitely someone else in the room. And then he showed her a picture of the senator.
Yep.
And I guess some people in the family, whatever. And she said, I never saw what anybody looked like, but somebody was writing.
Yeah.
I heard that. And you know what's crazy? In episode 7, they spend a lot of time focusing on boxes of pens that were on a table inside the torture room. And then they show a cutaway of one of the pens just a lone pen on a stool.
Hmm.
And then it was revealed that the pen that Henry had used when you see him writing, it was the same pen.
Oh. So you picked that out from episode 7.
You can see it. I mean, it's just crazy. And then they showed a cutaway of the bathroom, and I mean, it is so detailed, but you would think, why are they showing this stuff? They're showing it for a reason. There were clues. And you look in the bathroom, and there's 2 sets of toiletries. There's like you see like an electric toothbrush, and then you see another toothbrush in a cup holder. So Henry, I think he was living there.
Interesting. Yeah, Henry is super, super creepy. Super creepy. And those recordings from the torture room were just horrifying, right?
Yeah, they were.
Horrifying. Now, the aliens are pulling up stakes. They're going home. And I thought, interesting that that in the clip that was used from Jimmy Stewart in Vertigo, Vertigo is the story of a man so obsessed with a woman that he turns another woman into her. Isn't that essentially what he's doing? He's turned, in other words, from Olivia to his sister Jen.
Right.
He's now moving on to chase her and to try to find her.
Right.
I thought that the entire use of clips from films, and by the way, I don't necessarily know them when I see them. I look them up afterwards. But I thought it was spectacular because it's how Sugar learned about the human race. He learned about humans by watching movies. So he's a cinephile, and there's that one moment where he speaks about a clip. He says, what was L.A. Confidential about? He says, it was about betrayal. And his people, his polyglot people, the alien, they betrayed him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, there was another added little ditty in choosing Vertigo because James Stewart's character, his name is John, which is the same name as Sugar.
Sure.
And then when Melanie, she's the one who's watching the movie, she goes into the cabinet and there's Jack Daniels, and you see that she's tempted.
Oh, right.
To break her sobriety.
Sure.
And then she says in the movie, Kim Novak says, "Are you referred to as John or Jack?" And it's just so funny that there's Jack Daniels, and I don't know if that was enough reason. I mean, I think the Vertigo reason and what the whole plot of the movie was is why they chose it. But just innately, there was other stuff with the John and the Jack.
Yeah, right.
That has had to do with that particular scene. So that was kind of cool.
I guess, and there are a couple of moments late in the episode where he suggests, I love this line. He says, as Ruby is leaving and they're all being beamed up, for lack of a better term, he says, I love my home, I'll miss my home, and I'll miss you. I will, and all the others. But this place, these people, for better or worse, I like them. I'm like them. He has tapped into what being human is all about, and he likes it. At another point, he says, I like being here. How can I feel, hurt, taste, touch, dream, hate? Have I become more human? Like Henry, need to hurry, need to find him. So again, he's empathetic with the human race, and he identifies with them in a way that maybe only Henry did. And so now you've got these 2 aliens, one a detective and one a murderous prick.
Right. And he's an anthropologist too, Henry, which is interesting.
That's right. Observe and report is what he said. He stood by for all that violence. I think that in the end, the question now is, honestly, the question is, it's set up for season 2, right?
I can't imagine they're not going to do a season 2 because now that it's connected back to an earlier clip with the love and hate and the Robert Mitchum, Night of the Hunter, where he had the love and the hate.
Yep.
And that's essentially what is going on with the disparity between Henry and Sugar. You know, Henry has more of the hate and Sugar has more of the love. And it seems like I think his sister's alive.
I do too. I think Jen is alive.
And I think that is going to be the journey. There's going to be, I don't think it's going to be too much of that, because it'll be kind of a replicate of Olivia, looking for Olivia.
Right.
So, but I think that Sugar is going to try to save the human race from Henry, because Henry is on a mission. He really just want to spread evil. I think there's he is so far gone in it. And I think because Sugar has embraced Earth, I think he's feeling maybe protective of Earth.
Yeah.
And he has to stop Henry.
Yeah. I've never seen a show quite like it. I've never seen a show that for 5.5 episodes is one thing, and then all of a sudden episode 6 becomes this completely different thing. And the beauty of it is, you were talking about clues. The clues were there all along that there was something more going on. Right. And paying that off was, I thought, was just a pleasure to watch.
And they did it in such a classy, kind of sophisticated way, like even with Melanie, how he didn't come out and say, I'm an alien. You know what I mean? He held her hands and then showed his eyes, his alien eyes appeared. And it was like, okay, he's different,
Right. And Melanie, by the way, afterwards he said, I've never shown a human being. I'm not supposed to. It's strictly against the rules, but I'm glad I did.
Right. Well, at this point, all the rules have been broken.
Yes, exactly. So there you have it. There is season 1 of Sugar. I can only assume there's going to be a season 2.
And in season 2, if there's a season 2, what do you think? Who's coming back? Is Melanie coming back? Is she maybe going to be a love interest with him?
I don't think so. I think it's a whole new chapter.
Okay.
I don't think the Siegels are going to be involved. I think it's going to be a whole new chapter.
What about the crooked politician? I'm wondering
the senator. I wonder if they take him down. I wonder. Yeah, that'll be. But I do think the whole second season is going to be a different chapter than the Siegels.
Yeah.
I think Melanie, I think Melanie has had her time on the show. Amy Ryan was fantastic in it. By the way, the cast was great. And Nate Cordry joined us, Dennis Boutsikaris joined us, Alex Hernandez joined us. We had people from the show on, which was really, really cool. And I thought just all round great television. So if you have not watched Sugar, check it out. It is on Apple Plus. And as you watch along, you can listen to an episode of our watch along after every one. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the Culture Pop Podcast. Do it on Apple and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you should like the channel. Subscribe to the channel, like the post, and we love all that stuff. Anything you can do to help us with the show, that is awesome. Sue, it is great seeing you. Sugar Season 2, we will be back, I think, when that show comes back, and I can guarantee you there's going to be a Season 2. Guarantee. Too good to pass up a Season 2 of Sugar. Thanks, everybody, for watching the Culture Pop Podcast, and we will see you next time.